Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, looks like we've got ourselves two Mavericks here on Shadilza, but Rang, who are they playing as?
Left hand side in blue, we have Tanner playing as the 116th Panzer Division with a Maverick income. Right hand side in red, we have ourselves a MrGhosty playing 3rd Armor Division, also Maverick.
I'm kind of excited to see this because this has just all of the tanks, and not just like, oh look, a couple of L6 types. Upgun P3s, we got ourselves Stewards, we got Jumbos. This is the tank almanac of almost the most common tanks you've ever seen in the World War II.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a very kinetic engagement at the start. Neither side has invested much down south, but up north it looks like it's going to turn into a weird battle of Kurskiv. Just all the Panzer IIIs, the Moberwagen Panzer IVs, Shermans, AT guns all over the place. Both sides are just gonna duke it out here up north and see how it goes.
They certainly will be seeming to do that. Now, I do love seeing the 250/8s. Recon optics, big heck of a gun, some AT to kind of toss down range. Of course, the 76mm might have something to say about that. So they back off kind of prudently.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how he move Tanner in this case, all of his Panzer IIIs, because at long range, not going to do well against the upgun Sherman, as well as the 76mm. So he's actually maneuvering him around the forest here, which is going to blow him down. While Ghosty's got a pretty decent just infantry force up north in half tracks and down south as well in that little forest area.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm not going to say impressed per se, but I do enjoy seeing someone say, you know what, there's dead stuff that way. I prefer not to have my stuff join that dead stuff. Let me try another path forward, and picking a very minimal hassle to do so.
Yeah, and war it's preferable if your stuff does not get converted into dead stuff. You need it to be alive stuff so you can, I don't know, like win wars. I think Sun Tzu said something like, oh no.
Yeah, Sun Tzu the genius. If you're going to attack the enemy, you should try to have more troops than him.
Whoa.
Yep. I'm ashamed that 9-year-old me thought he was that much of a brainiac. Oh well. Ju-87 Recon trying to spot for the Ju-87 Big Boy. Not really picking a really strong target just yet. In fact, I'm kind of surprised he's not seeing going after that. So there we go.
I really do like his central push here from Tanner, because on this map, like, we've seen it time and again, if you can just push Sherman through the center, it's such a huge point advantage. There's so many bloody flags for you to, paint your own color here. The Panzer Grenadier getting into that hill is vital, because it allows him to stop his pesky anti-tank guns from blowing up his tanks as he does these maneuvers. And these Panzer IIIs, I'm going to be curious whether he tries to move him all the way up north to actually flank this American armored force here. So Tannis is getting himself into a very good geographic position.
That's true, but his opponent hasn't given up the ghost just yet. He's got some troops infiltrating here and there. And not for nothing, I feel like 3rd Armor does have a really, really strong list of troops to kind of be bringing onto the fray here. But that peak run overextended because now we have a half track with armored rifles in the back end, and the half track is going to go and chase that guy down and either force him off or force him to surrender, one or the other.
Yeah, and the Panzer III blobs have combined together into their own little Panzer company now. This is quite an insane amount of tanks, and I see what Tanner is doing, because if he manages to engage in this area, it's a bit more close quarters, where those 50mm guns can prove to be a bit more effective. So this is going to be a pretty pivotal engagement. That one Sherman is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting.
It absolutely will. I do want to actually kind of note, this is just more of a pedantic thing more than anything else. There are a couple of P4s mixed in with the 75mm. So, I mean, looking forward to those. Unfortunately, one is going to run afoul of the armor rifle with those Zooks, and that, as Chief Bast would say, is we've analyzed the attack pattern, and there is a danger. Unfortunately, that P4, no chance to evacuate.
Yeah, and very good maneuvering here from MrGhosty, not baiting, that tank fight, because he surely would have lost. just getting 1 or 2 kills there and then backing off will keep most of his forces alive. And he's not really overextending himself. He's got defensive positions, he has bazookas and all his bloody troops, which is such a huge advantage for 3rd American here. But Tana is getting that nice 15-9 right now, and that can really pay off quite well in this Maverick on Maverick fight.
P-51 was probably the deadliest I've ever seen one of those particular platforms, coming in absolutely obliterating a P3.
And then all the 57 mils in a very good spot here to get some more picks. And it seems Tana, he's kind of got a bit stuck in his central bow position, and he has not been able to exploit it. MrGhosty has done a good job of picking off these tanks, and even though Tana's gotten some good flags advantage from this position, feels like it's going to get blown up rather soon. Or just take enough casualties where they can't really continue to fight.
That's true, but the other 57 mil probably will get picked up. He will get more than enough value, I would argue.
Yeah.
But I do think he didn't get picked up for too much longer.
The Panzer Grenadiers coming in, gonna be dealing with the 57 mil, but now we're really only down to 2 tanks here to continue his push.
Well, and up north, we actually see another 76 mil is engaging more P3s. Unfortunately, backed up by that Pac 40, he might get 1 kill, but that's all he's going to get.
Yeah.
Not even that. Okay. So those are expensive anti-tank platforms early on. Yeah, it's 65 points, but those are also potent anti-tank platforms. You can't go around just losing them kind of haphazardly.
Yeah, and he's going to be pulling it back. I know, I'd be curious to see if Tana does try to make his northern push actually go. Oh, kind of like right down the road here. It's kind of a risky position to push because there's a lot of open fields which you have to cross and a lot of areas where MrGhosty can snipe him with 76mm guns. But at the same time, trying to, clear these pockets of American infantry will slow him down.
But I think we're also going to see a consistent kind of message here too, which he's going to play back towards the center. You see we get more peak runs in there. Going to be kind of engaging back and forth with those armored rifles. Sturm Pioneer moving up in close support because this is where it matters the most. This is the situation for him where he says, yeah, you know what? Oops, donation to P3. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go and lose some infantry and lose some squads. But if I can get that -2, I think we're just going to consistently see him fighting, trying to push back and take that flag over and over and over again.
Yeah, I guess also a question for Tana is how many tanks can he afford to lose? So he's already lost a big chunk of his tank force in any phase. Fortunately, he does have some extra Marder support as well of those anti-tank or tank destroyer platforms, which are very cost effective for 1v1 matches. So I don't know, he can just kind of keep his current position. A +2 against the Maverick is pretty damn good. Well, most situations it's pretty damn good. But especially against Maverick where you both just get buggered in C phase. If you can just get a huge advantage by C phase, you can pretty much have it.
Well, and he's doing that right about now. He was running with a 16-8. Now he's very, very comfortably on a 15-9. And he's going to be picking off more and more of these nice, cheap, easy kills. Seal clubbing kills, I call them. Mm-hmm. But regardless, doing things like, oh, you just shot an M3 half-track with a P3. Yes, you did waste an APCR trial on it, so that's an interesting always to call. But nonetheless, that is still a valuable piece of light equipment that is now no longer functioning.
Yeah, and the P3's now making their push up north, getting a good snipe on that Stuart. Be curious to see if these armored rifles actually stick around to maybe try to pick off Panzer III or so, because we've seen a lot of the tank kills really just been down to those bazookas getting into sneaky little spots here. And it's once again what makes 3rd Armored so great, is everyone gets a bazooka.
And he's going to donate at least one, probably both. Yep, here it comes. Yep. The other one won't necessarily get a round off, but his buddy will.
This is what makes it very costly to push 3rd Armored as a Panzer division, especially one such as 116th, which doesn't get a whole lot of infantry either, and not a whole lot of CQC specialists as well. is trying to push through forest, trying to make any aggressive plays. All it takes here is being 200 meters near a bit of, you know, grass and trees, and then a bazooka comes flying in your face. And that's not really ideal for any Panther crewman.
Yeah, probably not. Though Michael Pittman might have a bit of a you know, let's say a taste of home and say, you know what? At least they're not peons. So.
Yeah, at least they're not peons.
Though actually, wasn't there a whole kind of like, you know, Manfred von Richthofen thing for Pittman as well? Where it was like, was it a 17-pounder? Or was it a Cromwell or something?
Yeah, it was, I think it's whether it's between a 17, the Firefly, or an aircraft.
Gotcha.
It's been debated. I don't know. Either way, they killed him. So yeah, and they lost the war.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Spoilers for anyone who's reading the World War II book right now. I'm sorry for saying it out loud.
But if you look at Germany and Japan today, did they really lose? Now, I will say that apparently MrGhosty says, you know what, that central flag that you've been holding on to, well, you're never going to hold it again. You can see right about now, there's so many half-tracks, so much LMG infantry, a couple of Scots, there's a Jumbo. I mean, that right there, that says, this is my territory, you're never getting it back. To which Tanner says, okay, that's cool, bro, I'll just take this other stuff instead, which is phenomenal. That's exactly what I want to say.
Yeah, both sides being pretty maneuverable right now. Tanner's very much focusing far up north, getting some good flag positions. MrGhosty in the center, very pivotal point for him to take, because holding that one hill, once again, gives you such good fire support basis across the entire bowl of the central map. It'd be curious to see if Ghosty does decide to push through the center in a counterattack to try to throw Tanner off, or whether he's just going to continue playing kind of more of a defensive line game and try to deal with Tanner's attacks, which he can't really be affording to do now. We're getting through B phase, and he's down by quite a lot of points. He needs to try to find a way to gain some momentum, so to speak, so he can push on through.
Yeah, and I don't know how easy that's going to be for him, frankly. It is a 14-10, so let's be fair there. And some infantry is getting donated on the northern edge of the map. And heck, even down south, where you're seeing is back to a 12-12. But I don't feel like these are long-term investments. I feel like these are things that are being picked up for the moment, and they're going to get rolled right back as Tanner brings in the next wave of troops.
Yeah, Tanner's doing a good job of just picking these areas to attack. Like you said, of like his southern push here of all the ersatz pioneers. Like, his can just grab him another flag and forces another bloody area which Ghosty has to deal with. And just by throwing your opponent off balance by just attacking random areas across a large map is a very good way to win.
Yeah, especially when you're leading in the first place. That's absolutely true. Watching as this Martyr 2, which for some reason has a larger gun than the Martyr 3, engages Jumbo, knocking out the shooter, but I don't think this is going to be a long-term strategy for success.
Yeah. Like, these Jumbos can just sit here and tank shots. Some of the tankiest tanks in the game. But once again, this is just a very defensive strategy. This isn't really allowing Ghosty to make a push anywhere. And Tanner has a very nice, well, decent fire support for us with those Pak-40s, so things are getting picked off slowly but surely.
They certainly are, but it's a question of what's going to run out first, the supply of Jumbos or the supply of heavy anti-tank guns. And I'm not saying that, that Americans have a little bit of an extra bit coming on in, but have you seen how many Jumbos are still there? I don't know. Martyr 2 taking out one just now.
Yeah.
Gun jam in the meantime, so that's actually a very potent weapon system that's not going to be utilizing any of its power for. So.
And even with, like, the more cost-effective, quote-unquote, super heavy tanks like the Jumbo, they're still just so risky to use, because especially with how Steel Division tank combat works. It just takes one wrong turn, a little bit of side shot, a little bit of side armor shown off to a Pak-40 style gun, and your heavy tank can just die, and it can really screw you over. I mean, the Jumbo he just lost, it's not terrible, he has some other stuff supporting him. But it's not doing him any favours, and this northern jumbo is pretty vital here in holding this off, and I'm seeing how Tanner's starting to maneuver to try to get multiple angles on him.
He is. Now, it doesn't mean that everything is perfect, because Lord knows that's not happening. We have an M4A1 making a run down south. A lot of these short barrel P4s, with not a ton of penetration, frankly, are certainly going down here, the F1s.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the Jumbos just, they don't make them like they used to, man. There's just not that many of them anymore.
No. And yeah, Tanner is taking a Tristan with a lot of his medium and kind of like cheap tank spam. There is, Maverick and Maverick. He can afford to take his losses. He does have a C-face guard of Panzer IVs. I'd see both sides, being a bit smart, taking some C-face stuff, especially with infantry, as with low infantry slot divisions such as these. Even with Maverick, you want the C-face card. For the love of God, just take the C-face card. Don't be too Maverick.
Exactly. Don't be proud, man. Just kind of do it.
Well, the Panther now being brought in. I mean, gonna have a bit of a tough time blowing up a Jumbo still, but enough to at least force the Jumbo to think twice about getting too close to a gun of that caliber.
Well, the other thing, too, here is, let's be fair, at least it also gives you that kind of command. Kind of buff as well, which is not anything to sneeze at. One thing we haven't seen is we haven't seen really any off-map artillery. In fact, I don't think there hasn't been a mortar that I missed. Nope, no mortars. No, it's been a very direct firing kind of map, other than one Leibelwerfer barrage, or Panzerwerfer barrage, which apparently I missed somehow. But apparently he did too, because I don't really see a whole lot of impacts.
Yeah. And down south here, we got Ghosty trying to do counterattack through the strip town in the bowl, using those half tracks quite effectively, because there's nothing to really stop him here. There's barely any anti-tank, so it's going to grab him a flag or two. But even then, Tanner just still has the momentum, it feels. He's got a very good push going on up north, and especially with all of his cheap stuff backed up by the rather nasty Panther, the Jumbo is just forced to give ground here.
Yeah, and although he's losing armor paint layer by paint layer, eventually he will go down despite that.
Yeah, goddamn. I mean, he's tanking it. He can solo raid the boss in the dungeon, but he can need a little bit of support. It's just going to take him all day to kill all of these tanks.
It absolutely will. It absolutely will. But the question will be, as you also see like the 76 mil moving back up, that can kill a Panther very, very easily. So will we see that be kind of that momentum arrestor, shall we say?
He's going to be able to pick off all the chaff of all these medium armored vehicles, at least, and anti-tank guns in defensive positions are quite deadly.
True. I learned that from watching A Bridge Too Far. We are... Oh, no, he's aiming an entire Panzerwerfer barrage at that 76. Me, I probably would have put it down south in that town, but that is also a decision, I suppose. Not necessarily one that I agree with, but hey, to each their own.
Yeah, I'm really curious what Ghosty would do now with his central push. Because it's going quite well. He's managed to push Tanner quite a bit and force Tanner, to now invest in tanks down south, which relieves pressure up north. But really try to push all the way through the bowl area. I mean, there's quite a lot of flags he can pick up, but I think that might be a little bit too far for him. Especially if his current forces, there's just really a lot of half tracks and infantry.
It's possible. It's certainly possible. And we're actually seeing all these 76 mils being brought into the northern side. If MrGhosty loses these, this, I think, is not quitting territory, but it ain't going to be pretty. You can see right now already. I didn't even see him bring any other Panzerwerfer.
No. Almost kills two. Very effective, because those anti-tank guns are very important for holding this line. And we've seen the Jumbo once again trying to move on up. And, well, I really would not want to be a crew in that Jumbo. They probably have a hell of a concussion.
Yeah, I can certainly agree to that one.
Yeah.
Try like elsewhere to see. Yeah, these 76 mils have been keeping him very, very competitive throughout this entire match, but I don't know in the long run how well that works. There was a force of half tracks and infantry that was in the forest to the southwest of those northern crossroads, just in the northern edge of the bowl. They're pretty much all cleaned up, which means that the 76 has to give ground because he has nothing else kind of keeping point for him.
Yeah, so a lot of his matches has been Tanner, you know, pushing the buttons in the right area, and then just forcing Ghosty to give just a little bit of ground here. Like, Ghosty isn't, you know, completely thrown all his forces Rainey's, you know, headlong attacks. It's really more of Tanner's game in this case. But just by having to force back, pull back, you know, force the ground, is really screwing him over, because he has just not been able to gain that much momentum. He's gained momentum in the central push here, but it's died off very quickly now.
Yes, it has. And you can see right about now, there was, I thought, potentially another push moving up north. But no, a third Panzerwerfer is on the map. And this is probably the most Werfing of Panzers we've seen in quite a bit of time, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, this is a lot of artillery investment. And it makes sense. It's a lot of those 76mm guns need to die. He already has enough frontline forces to make these attacks happen.
That is certainly speaking the true. I thought that Pack 40 might have been able to take out the M4A1, who has just slain him. But no, actually, we are waiting for a full barrage, it looks like. Nope, never mind. Alright, cool.
We got 2 of the 155mm heavy artillery guns being brought out here from Ghosty, which, yeah, it'd probably be pretty good for, I guess, trying to counter battery the Panzerwerfer, so they are mobile. At the same time, he can also use them to just try to deal with these, you know, Panzer blobs, which Tanner has set himself up with.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm going for the Panzer blobs. That's just, I think, the better play, but... Well, and I think another 76 is going to buy the farm here. Almost done reloading? There we go. Okay. Kind of mildly amusing still that it's this... Neither guy is really giving an inch, which is kind of surprising for me. MrGhosty, despite getting kicked in the teeth consistently, I'm sure you're about to say, is he's just been taking it every single minute of this, and he's not giving ground at all.
Yeah, he is trying to make these counterattacks happen. When we're seeing up north, we've got those 2 rifle bar scrotch, or not scrotch, like platoons, pushing on through. And both of these are really good areas for him to push, as it is very forestry, allows him once again to use a plethora of bazookas here. And this could really relieve a lot of pressure up north, if he can move his bars into position to start knocking out some of these panzers.
But that's the thing, isn't it? He's probably going to pick up that Murder 3. And that's a loss, yeah, let's be fair. But at the end of the day, I lose a Martyr 3, but I have a Mobile Wagon, you're not going to get anywhere close to me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's still the Panther, and the Jagdpanzer. Still enough armor here to just slow up any of the armored pushes from Ghosty's side.
Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. That Jumbo is still alive, somehow. Bush over here is quite worried. Who can blame him?
Oh. He must be looking like a goddamn... You know the picture of the tiger where it got shot 200 times? And it just looks like someone's just put a bunch of, like, little holes in it? Probably looks like that by now.
Yes, and actually, the very much the Swiss tank, let's call it.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true. I was thinking about more of it as almost being like that KV-1 holding the crossroads type of thing, or KV-2,
yes.
I always forget which one. And geez, there's another Jumbo up north. Kind of funny, all these tanks cannot kill, but if he's close enough, that Panzerfaust, well, that certainly is scary enough.
Yeah, just Ghosty's getting into, like, some decent positions, bringing out, must be close to his last 76mm guns now, back into the center here. And just the way he's, like, maneuvering himself up north, well, in the northern area and southern area through those 2 forest strips, he's making some territory, and Tessie got a decent plus run, and a decent hold in the center. It's not the best area of ground covered, but he's got at least the forest hills, you know, defensible.
I have to agree with you. Now, the naval warfares are starting to kind of engage in also the northern side, which is certainly a call. Trying to push back that jumbo, I think. But I'm getting the feeling that it might have been better to continue. Yeah, he taps.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, DC.
Oh no! We'll rage quit. Who knows? But honestly, like, Ghosty was starting to win it.
It was getting close, that's for sure. It was getting real close. But Windhound over here, you can see it right now. Somehow he actually didn't get anywhere near the amount of kills. At the beginning, I thought it was all coming up him. Then it goes back, swings back the other direction, and that's just basically the chronology back and forth.
Yeah, it's very flip-floppy. Looking at kills, Jarvis a 57 mil, as well as the Polish P51, both of them doing bloody lord's work. Breen, the armored rifle, doing good. The Jumbo holding ground. There's some pretty decent, like, units here from the Americans.
Now the opposite side, Jock, basically picking on half track. So let's not count too many of those steel clubbing kills. Schumacher though, definitely getting himself some souls. Verder, decent as well. But you're absolutely right. That was something that it might have been a DC, a true DC. It might have been a rage quit. Either way, I saw that going very, very differently throughout most of that match.
Yeah, and it's always quite surprising in Maverick and Maverick games, because you always can forget just even a small amount of difference trading. Like, it didn't seem that Ghosty was trading effectively, but just value of units and all of that. He was. And we kind of just saw how things right towards the end here were flipping over. Ghosty was making good pushes up north, and he still had the pretty much full southern side lost still. But that didn't really matter.
Exactly. But regardless, do you have any final thoughts to add in addition to those?
Nope.
Well, folks, in that case then, until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.